What's up, everybody? It is I, Sigma, and we are back with episode 56 of the BBET GamesCast. I'm joined by Superman Jeff.
What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite superhero, aka Jollof Jeff.
As well as Mr. Gamer.
Hello there.
And Blue Bones.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy.
Welcome back to the show. As we always do, we tend to start things off with what we've been playing / watching for the week. Does anyone want to go first? I actually only have like 3 things, so I can.
I have less than that.
All right, go right ahead.
One game that I have been playing ever since I saw it on Game Pass, Neon Abyss. I can't stop. I don't know why. I started and then it just took off. It's just about my favorite roguelike that I've played so far. The controls, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's gonna be a little weird. Left bumper is jump.
That left trigger.
Left. The thing is,
Is it trigger?
It's the trigger. Yeah, it's a trigger.
Yeah, left trigger is jump, and it's still kind of like twin stick too. So you'll be moving over here, jumping, and then going over there, and obviously different weapons. You can remap some.
Yeah.
You can remap some buttons, but I don't understand the logic behind why just not making the A button.
It's because you're shooting in all directions with the right stick. So if you had to take your hand off that stick to then jump, then you're not shooting anymore. It lets you jump and shoot at the same time. Like, that's the sole purpose. And it's funny because that's literally what I did for my control scheme with Lucio in Overwatch, so that I can jump and wall ride while aiming at the same time. So like
really jumped and shot too. So I don't know if and that was on Super Nintendo.
And I guess because I have like this special elite controller, so I just have like the trigger. So. Yeah, like the triggers in the back. So
yeah, I couldn't get with those paddle dealies.
It's so hard. It's so hard for me to play. Otherwise, I'll play games like Monster Hunter where I have to like go through my menu real quick. It's much easier to just use those than whatever other button it's supposed to be for that. As far as watching, I am now caught up season 3, episode 2 of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Loving it. And I finished Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon?
It's good.
Oh, I've just started season 2.
First season or second season?
It's so
What season did you finish?
ridiculous.
Jeff was
Which
asking
season?
which season did you finish?
Oh, just the first one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
There's a first one. There's a spin-off that follows the girl, and then there's a third. Then there's this actual second season.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen anything after the first either, though. So I should
just
get back
started
on
watching the
Okay.
second season. It's different. It's a little different.
Yeah, but that's pretty much all I've been doing.
All right, nice. I can go next. Nobody minds. I couldn't talk about it last week, but the review has already come out. I played Carrion, which also hit Game Pass, just like Neon Abyss did, which I didn't know about. I don't. It's like Xbox will announce that these releases are coming to Game Pass the same day they come to Game Pass, so it's like a shock to everybody. But I think that's really cool because everyone can check it out who has Game Pass anyway. But yeah, if you saw my review, I absolutely loved Carrion. Like, the premise is you play as kind of this amorphous monster, and you're basically the scary thing that all the humans are, cowering from and like are finding it difficult to take on and whatnot. So it's a literal reverse horror game.
You got a really good review on that, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's at its core, it's a Metroidvania. Like, as you eat people, you get bigger, and then as you break into other sections of this research lab that you're trying to escape, you find other containment units that then give you new abilities, and then those new abilities are tied to how big you are in that moment. So, to open a door, you may need a specific ability that's only at a specific size. So, part of the puzzle is kind of searching the area around or the immediate vicinity, and either eating people or finding places to get rid of some of your size. Like, you can deposit your mass in like these kind of weird pool things.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's really fun. Like the combat is actually like harrowing because you like yes, the people that you're fighting are like little baby humans to you, and like you can throw them all over the place, but then like you'll get dudes with like electrified shields that like you can't like basically come straight at because they'll knock you back. There's flamethrower guys that have tons of range, so like they'll just cover like a whole area in fire, and you'll just be sitting there burning until you find water. There's like mech suits that have like big giant chain guns that just eat at your health like really quick. Like so you gotta like go through vents. You can like pull open grates and like come behind people and snatch them up into the vents. So like you'll see the other characters like react to that stuff and like run away or like scream and yell. Like so you really feel empowered as this evil monster, and like you kind of lose all the sense of, oh, this is actually horrific what I'm doing to these people. You're like, oh, I don't care, I'm the monster, I'm just gonna kill everything in my way. So it's a really good time. I had a lot of fun with it.
One of the things you mentioned in your review was the sound design, and I was listening to it too. Like, it sounds like every hit is really satisfying. And what I think I haven't had a whole bunch of games like that. I think the last one I played that was probably Final Fantasy 15 Comrades. Like every time you hit somebody, you felt it, and it felt nice. And I think that's the kind of vibe you was getting from Carry On.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's referred to as like juice or like the juiciness of like the interactions.
That's okay.
That's a new one for me.
When you mentioned that game, a bunch of things just flooded to my mind. Like I could see like a parody of what I think I mentioned this, of what each person that's being killed is thinking. Well, when they see this thing pop out, I could think of it could be like a parody of like the same way they did like Red versus Blue.
Oh, like okay,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, and then I could see the story plays out in Carrion, but then there's another one. I don't know whatever the name's gonna be. But then you're actually one of these little humans, and you're seeing all this unfold. And like you can't shoot. Your job is just to kind of like Alien Isolation. Is just to avoid.
Oh my god, like that's a regular horror game, and that would be so terrifying to be on the other side. Like after playing this, I'd be interested in seeing some kind of media, like a movie or a TV show, from like the regular perspective. So it's like you would see these things that the monster is doing, and then like in the back of your head is like, oh, I know what it's doing. Like it's using this ability, it's doing that thing, it's in the vents, like because you kind of seen it from that perspective. So
it could be a good animated series, but all the gore and whatnot, it would work very well with that.
Yeah, its launch trailer actually was that like the trailer that came out the day it launched was like a little animated cartoon that showed like a scientist running around the lab and the carrion monster like kind of wreaking a little bit of havoc. So like there's a little taste of that. So it's really cool. I enjoyed it a lot. Definitely check it out. It's on Game Pass. It's on other platforms as well. But if it's on Game Pass, you don't got to pay no monies. The other thing that I've been playing recently is for review. The embargo should be dropped. Actually, let me double check that real fast.
You try to roll the dice right now.
You know, like is the 28th Tuesday, or is that Wednesday?
That's Tuesday.
The 28th is Tuesday.
Yep, 28th is Tuesday.
Okay, so I'm fine. All right, so the game is out Tuesday. It's called Other Side. Has anyone heard of this?
No. What's
No.
Other Side?
Other Side is a roguelite turn-based tactics game. Like very, very grim, dark aesthetic. Kind of like vampires and like demons and angels type feel. Almost the entire game is black and white or like monochrome in tone. And then you have like, the flashes of red here and there and like the menus and like the characters. Like it's super stylish. Like it has music that reminds me of like Evanescence almost. Because it's like this really gothic tone. You know what I mean? But it works. Like I like it. Like there's voice acting from the main characters and like the enemies. Like the enemy designs are like very Bloodborne, like grotesque and like menacing and whatnot. But the premise is, apparently you're this character called the Mother, and she's like this super powerful kind of otherworldly being. Like all this stuff is taking place in like this realm just outside of reality, right? Where there's like good and evil fighting each other to protect us, the regular folks, right? And the Mother basically loses to this entity called the Child. So the mother, in her dying, she's so powerful, she doesn't really die. She becomes a spirit. And then her daughters are who you now control, who all have pieces of the mother's original abilities and stuff. So, like, these are your
together
troops.
They can beat the child.
Right, exactly. So, like, you have a team of sisters who are the daughters. I love, like, how everything's kind of just very family-oriented, but, you know.
Yeah, but not.
Yeah, exactly. So, you have 4 classes with the daughters. And as you fight with them, you kill these enemies or whatnot in the turn-based battles, like, they level up, just like any other turn-based tactics game. The difference is, instead of doing the, like, player phase, enemy phase, this works on the initiative system, where it's a timeline, but they pay super close attention to the timeline. Like, everything kind of revolves around this timeline. So, like, yes, maybe 2 of your girls go first, but one of these enemies is faster, and the third girl will go after. So you have to pay attention to the fact that, okay, so if this enemy moves next, I won't be able to do anything about their attack unless I have these guys take care of that enemy.
Man, so this is what it's telling me, man.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all just need to play D&D, because that's exactly.
No, you're right. Yeah, that the initiative thing is a D&D thing, right?
100%.
You can play Pillars of Eternity. It's the same thing.
Is it? Is that turn-based?
Yeah, and it's the same thing where you got to roll for stats and stuff like that too.
Well, I mean, this does get, like, complicated, but it's small battles. You know, you don't have to do a bunch of. It's like you go into, like, the arena and then you take on the situation. And I don't know, the complexity comes from kind of knowing that timeline, because they're really smart about how they present all the information to you. Everything is there, just not necessarily in the moment. Like, every enemy that you come across gets a codex entry, so you can go in the codex and, like, read about that enemy, and they give you a little bit of lore about where they come from, but they also tell you how their AI functions. They'll say these enemies will go for the daughter furthest from them, and then any other enemies of them will follow the first one. So if you keep that in your head, and you're like, okay, these enemies just showed up in front of one of my daughters, it's a panic situation, I gotta use all my action points to take them out. No, that would actually screw you over. You have to remember, they're not gonna attack anyone there, they're gonna go over this way, so you have a little bit of time, you know what I mean? And, like, time is so important.
Oh, is this codex something you can pull up mid-battle, or is something you have to look at before?
Yeah, that you can't do, which bugs me a little bit. So you can't, you can't go back and, like, do the research in the moment, which sucks. You can see the enemies, like, movement and stuff like that, but they do make it a point of just get to know your enemies, which, you know what, fair, I understand.
I can make a spreadsheet and then use that.
You could.
That's the first thing I thought of. I'd have to write down this codex and pull it up online.
Especially for those encounters. I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, I mean, if that's not to your liking, the boss battles are completely unfair. Like, just
unfair in which direction?
Just unfair to you, the player.
Okay.
Like, let me describe real quick the situation I was in. I had a massive boss who has the ability to buff his own initiative. So he
can be as fast as he wants.
Kind of, because, like, he'll like boost himself by, like, 30 something initiative each go around. Like, he starts at, like, something like 80, right? So he by himself can buff himself like 30 plus initiative, right? So he'll move up in the timeline based on where you are. So that's scary in and of itself, right? But he'll have up to 5 minions surrounding him that only care about buffing him. So they'll buff him 500 armor, and then they'll buff him like 15 initiative. So if you leave them alone, they'll buff him to the point to where he basically beats all your characters. So you have to focus on those guys first, which isn't the worst thing in the world, because they're kind of passive. They're chasing
kind of
the
a
big
classic
guy.
RPG strategy right there. Kill the minions first.
But here's the rub. Once you kill those minions, his attack patterns change. So he's no longer as docile as he was. Now, he gets a move where he can still buff his own initiative. He always had that ability. But now he gets a move where it's a time delay. So, like, he'll get his regular move where he walks up to one of your girls. He'll, like, hit you with, like, a multi-hit attack, because first it was just 1 hit, now it's 3 hits. He'll hit the one girl. Then he'll start a move that lays down an area of an effect spell that will hit in, like, maybe another 30, 40 initiative, right? So if I stay within that area in order to hit him, because most of my characters are melee except for, like, one who's like a gunslinger, I'm gonna get hit by his thing, which is like a super powerful 3-hit thing that will pretty much kill anyone with the first hit, right? So I have to move out of that range, which means I can't hit him. But if I do hit him, if I risk it because I have a tanky character, he automatically counters any hit. So like he'll take the damage, sure, but then he'll hit you right back.
Oh my! Do you remember the Death Knight in Fire Emblem 3 Houses?
Yes, the Death Knight is unfair.
Same kind of deal.
Yeah.
Now I had to look up online on my second playthrough. I had to, do a lot of finessing to beat him initially, but right away, that's exactly what it sounds like. He's got like mad counters, mad buffs. Like he's designed to kill if provoked, and that's what it sounds like. This boss is doing.
And you don't have a choice for the amount of melee you had versus ranged?
I mean,
that was my next question.
I mean, you do, yeah, but it's like you have to do that boss fight to learn that. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't be so bent out of shape about that situation if doing the boss fight didn't start your run over, because like I said, it's a roguelite. So once you get to the boss at the end of your streak, you have that one chance to take them on, you learn what you can, and then you lose, you start over at the beginning of your streak. So there are some elements that carry over that help you be stronger, like the little buffs that say, okay, the daughters do 15% more damage to this kind of enemy. The daughters, it costs less to, give them these buffs or whatnot, right? But you still, it doesn't change the fact that you start over. Like, you have to build up your daughters before that boss fight, and that whole process takes 3 to 4 hours, depending on how much build. Because you can take the boss on from the very beginning, but you won't have any luck because all your daughters are like level 1. You know what I mean? So you got to take some time to try to build them up, but you have to do that every time you lose that fight, and that just takes all the wind out of my sails. You know what I mean?
You could imagine, yeah.
So is there some place you grind out levels, or is it just?
No, you have to go through the, like, they call it days. So like each day, you're basically doing missions, and each mission is giving you guys, more abilities and powers and whatnot. But if you take any damage, you can't heal. Like, the only way you can heal your daughters is to sacrifice another daughter into that daughter.
What?
Yes.
No.
I'm sorry. Wait. Can you please?
Like, it's very, very difficult.
Is what?
So, the only way you can heal is you take another daughter and this daughter has to be either higher or equal level. So you can't like spawn new fresh daughters and feed them to your veterans. The veterans who have been battle tested essentially have to get their powers to go into the weaker ones. So it's like this churn system of, and I get it, because the aesthetic is kind of like this. These girls are kind of offshoots of the mother, and they're somewhat disposable. Like, she cares about them, but it's like they have to sacrifice themselves for the greater good. So I get that. Like, that all kind of feeds into the notion, but it just makes it so hard.
Yeah.
And like I wouldn't be as bent out of shape about it if there was any way to kind of just, all right, so I botched this fight. Like, can I just do that fight over? No. It's like, it's one and done. If you mess up, you have to kind of keep going, and once you get to the boss and you mess up, you start the whole thing over, and it just eats at your soul a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's rough.
That sounds depressing.
Yeah, I mean, the gameplay is solid. I enjoy what they're doing there, but like that difficulty spike, and like maybe it'll get easier the more I play, but it's like, how much do I got to play to get past the first boss? Like, I gotta buff these characters with all these additional runs to just beat the first boss, because there's more after that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, man, it might be rough for some people to deal with, but otherwise, it is fun. I will give it that.
Yeah,
Honest,
definitely sounds like it.
What you're gonna turn into. Hey, we ain't gonna sugarcoat it. There's no easy peasy boss. This is what you're gonna deal with. If you don't want to deal with it, guess what?
It's not for you. Yeah, there's some of those vibes there. But other than that, I finished Little Witch Academia.
Yeah, did you like it?
That anime has solidified Trigger as just my favorite animation house.
Oh, okay.
Because last week I was like, maybe I had finished, I think the first season, was just starting the second one, and I was telling you how like the stakes are like kind of low. Everything is very chipper for the most part. Like, no one has to save the world or anything. Well, they kind of throw a little bit of that out the window second season. And it only comes in at the very end, where they're dealing with something that could affect the world.
Yeah.
But Trigger has this way of kind of having their stories come full circle. Like, it was something that I absolutely adored in both Tengen Gurren, Gurren Lagann. I can't remember the full name.
I was like,
Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. It's something that I
Yeah.
really enjoyed in that, as well as Kill la Kill. Like, they just have their story wrapped back around itself, and it just makes so much sense. And they do the same thing here. Like the core tenet of the entire show kind of circles into this big twist that I'm like, oh, like my jaw was on the floor, right? But then, like, the ending sequences are just so bombastic, and like the way they animate things, and like how, like, yes, it's about like the power of friendship and like believing in yourself and all that stuff. It's corny, like it's something that's kind of aimed at like young children, but like they do it so well. Like, I would love for my son to get into this show eventually, like, because it just fills you kind of with like that spirit, like that joy of like friendship and stuff.
Oh
Like,
my god!
I was I couldn't stop. I finished it at like 3 a.m. the other day because like I just kept watching those final like 5 or 6 episodes. Like, I'm absolutely enamored with it.
Their stories.
Friendship is magic.
Like, it's amazing. Check it out if you haven't. Give it, like, if you're not into like more like kiddie feeling shows, just give it some time maybe. Like, because I really did enjoy it.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it for me in terms of what I've been playing and watching.
Recently played some Destiny 2. Didn't get to play much this week, but played some Destiny 2. Me and Bama played last night for a little bit. Did some strikes. I think they do a very good job with the seasons now because they roll out. Before, when you got an expansion, it was here's a story, you do the story, and the story's done. With the season, they give me the initial season's story. Then they roll out different storylines throughout the season. So, hey, you log on today, you got to go see Zavala, and you got to set up for this mission because to prepare for the arrival of the pyramids. So they roll out different content. Something I really liked that they added was you had to pick a side. So you had to choose between the Drifter side or the Vanguard, which is something they've never done before.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't seen the repercussions yet, but from what I'm learning, there's a significant change in the story based on whose side you pick.
And it's a permanent choice, right? Like, it's nothing that you can go back and like, I don't want to be with them. Yeah.
So it's a permanent choice, and you gotta deal with the outcome. Now the Drifter's more of this is what we need to get this done by any means. We need to get this done. The Vanguard's a little bit more reserved, so they're like, we need to take our time. We need to figure out what we're up against. We don't really agree with the Drifters' methods, but these are also two groups who've worked together in the past, who aren't directly against each other, but they see different points of views to help save, humanity.
Kind of like Hokage versus Anbu Ops.
Exactly.
Like type.
The whole thing is the pyramids are what caused the first collapse. This darkness, these pyramids, they are what caused the first with humanity, and they're back. So, right now the story's it touches on stuff. So like you'll see like actual ghosts of other guardians in different areas who are like whispering stuff, like like a spirit, like, hey, I didn't want to die, or whatever it was.
When you say ghosts, you don't mean the actual ghosts. You mean like
phantoms of like former guardians.
So not their ghosts themselves. Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure I got that.
And then the pyramids are telling you we're not here to be against you.
Wait, the pyramids are telling you this?
They're telling you this, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're telling the truth. You also have Savathun, who's the sister of Oryx.
Right. Yeah.
She's also there, and it's like a 3-way battle right now between Savathun, the pyramids, and you. The pyramids haven't really been, involved as much yet, but Savathun's like the threat you're dealing with now. But you're also busy preparing for the pyramids. So you got a lot going on this, and I do like the way they roll some of it out little by little. So there's like before you I ran out of stuff to do in like a month or 2 months after the expansion the pass came out. I mean the expansion came out. Now you don't have that problem. There's always something to do, always something to strive to work towards.
That's good.
So each story or each plot they kind of throw in there, there's new weapons to go along with it too.
Also,
So
on a
it,
weekly basis, they're introducing gear.
not necessarily on a weekly basis, but when they do drop stuff in,
Okay.
they just dropped another story in, like I think last week. They dropped a whole new set of weapons with it too.
Nice. So,
So
so rather than like a package thing, they're just spreading out
yeah,
all the stuff over.
yeah.
That makes sense.
So
Okay.
you got different types of Ingrams. One might be an Exodus Ingram, another one's a Dredge Ingram. You uncrypt and it gives you different sets of stuff. So different armor sets or weapon sets, that are in that particular weapon or armor pool, you get from those particular Ingrams. So you got a different, much more sources of loot that than you had before. So instead of
Okay.
just the normal legendary and exotic Ingrams, you got other types of Ingrams too that give you gear too. So it kind of helps with the whole. Because I think I was started out at like level 750. That was like last month. I'm at like
Yeah, I think I'm
and I
still
haven't
at
like played
750.
much. I'm like 110. I mean 10,010 right now. So 1012 ish,
And
13.
going
So
backwards.
it's coming up. Um, Besides that, we all did play Halo 5 on
Yeah,
for
free
Free
for all
For All Friday.
Friday.
That was fun.
That was funny.
I got to break in my Elite Controller Series 2. I do love the
Yeah.
paddles for certain stuff. So like, and Blue mentioned this, like, oh, so everybody's shoulder charging. It felt so good shoulder charging in that because I could just sprint and then hit the paddle just to
I'm
and then
sorry. How did that go again? It
oh
felt
man,
like you was like really
to pop off and
like
just
you got a VR set on.
you know what I'm saying? It felt so good. Just and it added another layer to the game because it felt weird using the was it LB or RB
Oh yeah,
for melee.
the right bumper, right button.
Yeah, it felt so weird using that. So having it on the paddle made it a lot made it a lot easier for me to kind of navigate using the melee button. And we had a crap ton of fun. We had a bunch of people come out. I think at a point we had what 8 people, almost the
Yeah,
entire time.
yeah. Max had like 8 people for the most part.
Yeah. So it was fun.
It
We
was
did
really
some
fun.
yeah, we did some free for all, some team stuff. It was pretty
We're
cool.
doing like the Fiesta
Yeah.
oddball.
Yeah.
It was
I
like
was
random
looking at that.
weapons.
That was pretty dope.
So yeah, that was fun. I'm looking forward to playing more of that. Um, but that's all I've been playing. Um, Watching though, I just finished the Thriller Bark arc in One Piece.
Right.
I thought that entire arc was a filler arc for some reason. Like I thought, because there's
I can see why you would think that, but it wasn't.
Nightmare Luffy, I thought was a filler entity. You know what I'm saying? I thought he
Hmm.
came from a filler because I'm like Nightmare Luffy. Okay. I guess I never seen this arc, so I'm watching it, and
It
it
feels like a filler, kinda.
it does. It's not bad though. It's good, but some of the
There
stuff
are better
like
ones.
Oh,
there are better ones. I will give you that, but the battle between the Straw Hats and Oars, that was fantastic. Yeah, the battle towards the end when Gecko Mario's in his stomach and he's controlling them, and all the Straw Hats are going to work. I will say this: this arc has cemented Zoro as my favorite anime character.
Yeah, I think he did
The
shine a
he
lot in that
shine,
one.
yes, and not even so much as combat wise, but when the tyrant came, Kuma came to kind of take out Luffy after everything happened. Everybody else is knocked out. Zoro's like, if you need a head, you can take mine.
Hmm.
And then Sanji comes up like, no, he's gonna take mine, and then he knocks Sanji out, and so that way Sanji can't sacrifice himself, and he's like, you know what, you know, do what you got to do. Um, Kuma, at this point you don't know that Kuma's actually with the Revolutionary Army
Hmm.
in some capacity. So you don't know
Spoilers.
this, but I do. But I'm like, so what's going on?
Spoilers.
Spoilers from like 80 years ago.
Yeah. So it's like he's like, you know what? If you want to save your captain, you're gonna have to take. He took out all his pain and suffering, all the injuries that he endured, and he told him, in this big little Paul little shape, and he's like, you're gonna have to take all of this. Can you do that? He's like, yeah, I can do that. And he's like, okay, let's see. And he sent him a little piece, and man, Zoro was just like thriving in pain. And he's like, you sure? He's like, yeah. He's like, well, can we do it somewhere else? And he took him by the beach, and he gave him, Zoro walked in and put himself into, this paw shape,
Yeah, he just like stuck his hands in there and just went like.
And that's it. Everybody wakes up and it's like, what happened? Where's Kumo? Where's this? Where's that? And then Sanji finds Zoro at the beach, just standing up like this, arms folded, covered in blood, and he never even fainted from that. Mind you, he was already, Kumo told him like, hey, what you're about to take on is probably going to kill you with your injuries you already have. And he took it standing up with his arms folded, drenched in blood, and they asked him what happened here, and he's like, nothing happened. So it showed that, what kind of character he is. He dealt all that without needing anybody to know about it. He didn't need anybody to know what he did for his captain, and even the stuff that takes place after that, and they're like, when certain characters know what's going on, they're like, we respect his decision. We're not going to say anything because we know he didn't do it for recognition. He didn't do it for anybody to be grateful. We know why he did it. And I think that's one of the reasons why I love this anime. I'm watching and I'm laughing. I'm getting sad. I'm getting excited. It touches all those feels that a good anime should. And people are like, oh, it's 900 something episodes. Now I'm looking forward to catching up to where I was and then keep on going. So that's what I've been watching.
Nice. A little
All right.
One Piece love. All right, Blue, go ahead.
Yeah, so okay, let me just talk about some of the ones that you guys mentioned. Neon Abyss. The thing I want to say about Neon Abyss is that it is so hard to start every run because the aiming is terrible.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
It's not twitchy enough. Like I mentioned it in my that's not kind of what their focus was. It seemed like,
man, and it's just frustrating because I'm trying to, I'm already trying to get used to this right or left trigger jump, right? And then I'm like, okay, so I'm moving and I'm trying to aim, and it's only going in like it feels like there's only 8 directions total, and like it's more of you have to shoot and then move your character to hit them rather than you can stand in one spot and like actually pick off somebody. And so it's an adjustment, and I'm not sure I like it. I kind of like what you were saying with the I'm sorry, I forgot the name of the Sons and Daughters game.
Oh, Other Side.
Other Side, yeah. When you get to I haven't beat the first boss. There's like 5. First of all, there's on every floor there's a boss, but then there's like a big
a manager,
boss,
they call it.
Son,
Yep.
Getting to the manager is so difficult for me, let alone beating it.
You're getting bad runs because it's not a skill thing. It's not that you're missing your shots and blah blah blah. You gotta get lucky. That's what it is.
I hate that, bro.
That's kind of what it is. You gotta get the right chests and power ups. You gotta figure out how to get everything or as much as you can from those dungeons so that you're OP by the time you get there. Then it won't be a problem. Like that's kind of the feel.
I have one tiny little thing that I do understand that, because at some point, if I didn't like get a good like item room first level, I will just restart. But I've also played other roguelikes like Enter the Gungeon and Binding of Isaac, where it's still salvageable. It's not
Streets
with
of
Neon.
Rogue. Streets of Rogue is another really good example.
It's still salvageable if you don't like, okay, boom, here's the clincher. This is what's going to carry me. That's just not the case in Neon Abyss.
Yeah.
And that sucks because there is no like just quick restart button, I have to go through the menu or die and do all this other sort of stuff. And and it's like you get up from the bar, you walk over, and then you fall. You just keep doing that. Like, I just want to get to the part where I fall. That way I could just keep going. This is going on too long.
I mean, so yeah, I don't know why I'm still trying to play it. I guess I just really want to beat the manager once, the first manager once.
I
But
guarantee you, because you're gonna need, because like Gamer was saying, like it's not salvageable unless you kind of get the good roll, and once you do
I
get the
don't
good
want that.
roll, you're gonna get a taste of like that power, that overwhelming power that takes you
And
through
don't
the
get me
rest of it.
wrong,
And I feel
I've
like that
gotten-
might have you wanting to try it again, because that's what got me.
and I think I got to that point a little bit where I was having mad pets. I got all this gear that like auto aims and stuff like that, and I'm just like decimating floors left and right. But at the same time, it's just really little stupid things that'll just knock your hearts out, and you're done. And that being said, it's really difficult to get back to that point. Without good luck, I guess.
Yeah, it's the luck of it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
So the luck heaviness is frustrating me. I recently downloaded a whole bunch of stuff. I was going through Game Pass. I'm like, let me just try this. Stuff. Minecraft Dungeons. It's interesting. It's fun. Like it's really simple Diablo.
Yes.
So far.
Yeah, it's like kind of an introductory dungeon crawler.
Yeah, and I'm not mad at it. I'm upgrading little parts. I like how the enchantments you can put on every piece of gear, and then when you're done with that piece of gear, you salvage it and get all those enchantment points back. I like that a lot because it makes me not hold on to my points till I find something I really love. It lets me actually explore and try different things. So
Nice.
I thought that was super dope. For about an hour and a half, I played, and I'm probably gonna keep playing this game. Totally Reliable Delivery Service.
Oh my god! I played that too. We played that on a game night.
How was that?
Game? It's so stupid and funny, bro. I was just laughing the whole time I was playing it. I wasn't even like, I didn't care too much about my delivery times. I was just trying to get the mechanics, and it's one of those games. I believe it's the same controls as Humans Fall Flat, and
yeah, it's in that vein. Yeah,
and where you have your triggers have your arms actually hold something. The sticks move your arms left and right, I think it is for the most part, and forward and back, and then the bumpers lift your arms up. So on top of that, you just got like this really weird those like clowns back in the day, the punching bag clowns that would like always like come back because they got the weird weight.
Oh yeah, like the sock'em bop clown.
Yeah.
Boppo.
Yeah, that's
Boppo.
kind of what your character feels like when they're running around and when you stop and
they're like little dough babies.
Yeah, it's cute, it's funny, it's stupid. And I'm gonna keep and I haven't done it multiplayer yet, but I just know by myself it's already a lot of chaos, so I'm just trying to see. Let me learn how to manage myself before I play with other folks.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's silly, silly fun.
One of the ones I've been hitting recently, and it's kind of, I haven't been on it as much just because I finally picked up some work and all kinds of other stuff. But Final Fantasy 14, I'm back. I'm playing this almost every day. Getting my dailies done. I caught up in the story. Let me tell y'all something. And we're going to talk more about Final Fantasy later. I'm not going to get too much into it. But the Final Fantasy Shadowbringers expansion has such a dope story. It's the I was going to say protagonist. The antagonists in this expansion have proven to be my favorite in most video games that I've played. Like, at this point, you're going up against gods that have like possessed people's bodies, and these gods are telling you to their face that they're just gonna mess you up, and they don't care what you think. And yeah, like real talk. Like I said, without getting too much into details, you're the warrior of darkness or light, depending on which realm you're in. It's a good thing, right? And everybody looks up to you. You guys just saved the world, da 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 da. And one of the things that helped you save the world in the big story was this one, the previous hero of darkness, and he's dead, and you're seeing his spirit through this whole time. Blah blah blah. Okay, cool. All of a sudden, you're just out in the city, and all the people say, "Hey, look, it's the warrior darkness." They're pointing at your character, and then all of a sudden, that old dude, the dude who died, just walks up. And it's like, yeah, that's the guy right there. You know what I mean? Like, everybody needs to be like him. He's a hero. And you're and your squad are like, that's not you who you think, like, you know, but you can't really oppose them in public. So they're like, okay, we're gonna keep a tail on him. And then so we're trying to follow him. This guy disappears. We're out in the woods and he just shows up. He's like, what's up, y'all? It's your old friend. You know me, right? He's pretending to be the old dude. And everyone's like, we know that's not you. And he's like, yeah, I wasn't trying to fool y'all anyway. Anyway, I'm about to take this whole thing over. Like,
so he's just that chaotic of an individual. These
not just chaotic, but confident. He is stupid confident. And his plan is to make everybody idolize you and send them on suicide missions.
Wow. Okay. That's new.
Bro, like, all he's doing is, like, he's telling the a lot of the people from the main city quit their jobs because now they feel like they can be a warrior of light just like you.
Oh, wow.
And this dude just encouraged him, like, yeah, y'all go out there, be great, be good people. and you like kind of want to tell everybody, like, whoa, hold on, it's not for everybody, like, chill.
Yeah, but then you just sound like a hater and you're crushing their dreams and stuff.
Exactly. So it's a little like, oh, it's really cringy right
That's
now,
really
but
funny.
it's a lot of fun. It's really cool, man. Like I said, there's more that, but okay. So when it comes to watching stuff on the anime side, keeping up with Fire Force, the latest episode was pretty dark. It was intense. We're not gonna go. This is not a spoiler anime podcast, so we're not gonna do that. But if you're watching it, hit me up in the Discord. Let's talk about it. Same with God of High School.
Yes.
Yeah,
Son,
people
main character flexed.
Son,
he flexed so dang hard in this last episode.
I wasn't expecting that.
Nobody was expecting that.
I was like, what?
This man's fast. That's all I'm gonna say right now. And I'm okay. So I have the books. I might have mentioned this before. I have the books. I'm trying to catch up now. I'm watching Black Clover, and it's hard watching the anime because I know the story is good, and the anime drags just a tiny bit, and Asta screaming is a little annoying, and I know the characters are pretty tropey, but I know it's a good story, so I'm just trying to trudge through it right now.
Yeah, I gave it a good college try. I was like maybe 20 something episodes in, and it just still felt too basic.
I understand. Yeah, there's definitely basic vibes on there. Oh, sorry, Jeff, I couldn't hear you.
I said I've been reading it, so it's actually pretty good.
Oh yeah,
yeah, especially because the manga's so far ahead, and the anime actually does drag in certain areas. So reading it actually is really good.
Yeah, reading it is almost the exact opposite experience. They don't do anything that looks like a filler is like something in disguise.
How much reading should someone do then if they want to kind of see what the hype is? Because everyone literally says this. After the 20 or so episodes I watched, I did start the manga to see how different it was, and it was like, okay, I'm reading. This is all the same stuff. Like, all of this is still not interesting to me.
Nah,
But honestly, I can't tell you how far in the manga I read because I didn't catch up to what I was watching yet. But it's like it wasn't like so different that it pulled me in versus what I was watching, you know.
Of course, reading manga is always going to be faster than watching anime, right? That's just a fact. But in the anime, they actually added in a couple things like Asta and him handling the monsters and stuff like that. They put way too much attention on that in the anime, where it was just like 2 panels in the manga. There's different things like that they dragged out for what felt like no reason, because at the end of the day, it didn't hurt nobody. It just, hey, that guy's he's a better guy than I thought. He did a good thing. Like that's really what those are.
I mean, they probably just trying to buy time and catch up to the.
I think that's exactly what was happening. So if in that case, those are fillers, but so like the fillers are kind of spread out along the whole plot, which is weird on the anime side. But I'm not giving up on watching it. There's like 100 and something episodes, and I'm like, I know it gets good because I've read so far. I want to see all that animated. So that's my motivation right now.
If you have time, I would read Solo Leveling if you have chance.
I've been hearing some craziness about that.
I will tell you that is probably one of my favorite mangas. it's like top 3.
I have a hard time sitting down and reading manga if it's not paperback. And I don't want to sound bougie, but it's just like I used to read a lot more when I would like
The Webtoons
be
app,
on. Huh?
the Webtoons app has it like in a really good format.
Okay, but at the same time, I was gonna say, I used to read a lot more when I would like take the bus or public transportation when I was waiting on somebody.
Yeah.
When I had to wait on a lot of things. But now that I'm home and I got everything right here, I'm just like, and even before that, you know what I mean? When I'm driving, I can't be driving in the same time. So yeah, I kind of fell off a little bit. But if I have the book, I can sit down and concentrate. Like, okay, this is that. There's no notifications popping up on my book. There's no sounds or music coming out my book. It's just me and the book. And I'm still reading Prison School. Actually, I got like 2 more volumes before I need to buy some more books. But I'm like volume 12 or 13. That manga's good. That manga's funny.
Yeah, I hear that. It just looks a little too wild for me to sit down.
I understand. It's mad edgy, and I'll be honest with you, it's mad edgy, but it's just funny the situations that they fall into that look super lewd. And then, so that was pretty much what you see in the anime, and then right after that anime arc, the manga picks up to a little bit more serious stuff, and where a lot of this stuff is more intentional, where they're trying to find love or, different things like that. So, yeah, that's definitely been a good read. But other than that, I think that's basically what I've been doing this week. Trying to get into Legion again. I'm on season 2 Legion. Son,
FX?
yes, bro. Let me tell you something. That's a mind trip. That's a mind trip. 100%.
That season was definitely setting the tone for that mind trip.
Man, like me and my girl are sitting here like pausing every 5 minutes, like, wait, so is this person real? Yo, like that. You'll ask yourself that question like 4 or 5 times. I don't want to say 4 or 5 times an episode, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, is this in somebody's head or is this real? And
we're Legion, is actually the name of Professor X's son. The reason why is because he has so many. He's so powerful that every one of his powers is associated with another personality that dwells within him.
Yeah. They had a pretty nice reveal of his lineage in season 1, which that's actually pretty dope. And if you like Aubrey Plaza, she does her thing in this show,
doesn't she?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she does everything. She
Who doesn't like
there's
Aubrey
a whole.
Plaza?
I'm sure there's somebody out there,
Of course, there has to be.
but they have a big dancing number in the last episode that I was in, and
Oh, that's
it
interesting.
went on for longer than I expected. Yeah. But Farouk just showed up where I'm at, and Farouk, if in the comics, he's one of the big bads, one of the big bads, and he's another psychic mutant that is very strong, very manipulative, and he's kind of cool to watch. And we're still trying to put together where and or what he is. So, yeah, there's some interesting imagery in there. The very next episode that we're on talks about like food regurgitation or something like that, because they always start with some like weird saying and then they tie it into like what the episode's about. So normally when we watch Legion, we're eating dinner, and they started talking about like throwing up food or something like that. We're like, we gotta turn this off now. So we gotta remember to watch Legion when we're not eating right now. Just for this episode. But that's basically what I've been doing this week.
That's what's up.
I was blessed to get some work on set in downtown Atlanta. So I'm working hard. I'm trying to relax with these wonderful games afterwards. So
Nice.
yeah.
Well, that wraps up what we've been playing.
Yay.
But Blue, can you let us know what we were playing?
What we were
this past
playing
Sunday.
Past Sunday was Super Smash Sunday. By the way, y'all gonna hear a lot of me. I was looking to run the show. You're gonna hear a lot of me. Super Smash Sunday. We had some pretty good. We had a good turnout, of course, but we had some pretty good runs with 3 folks individually. Sigma started off running the table with Daisy. Those turnips were pissing everybody off.
What, you mean those
But
sniper bolts?
the sniper turnips on the side, they really stopped everyone's momentum, and we had to look out for it. Eventually, Emissary took the field with his me gunner that was dressed like Sans. He countered almost everybody that came through until now. Granted, we had our terrorists do some really good work. One other person I forgot to write down, but at the very end we had Paradigm again, and Paradigm did really good work with Bowser Jr. This one was actually Morton, as Sigma so eloquently put on stream. We were talking about Morton being the Trousers' son. Remember that?
No, okay, yeah.
Y'all got
yeah. All right, that's a stupid
go back
line.
and watch the stream, y'all. It's there on YouTube. It's there on. Could be there on Twitch as well. It was pretty fun. But Paradigm showed out. It was great. And
Paradigm's got
the
some
cool
skill,
thing,
man.
yeah.
And I start breaking
the
out
greatest,
some heavy hitters for that guy.
Oh yeah. The greatest thing about this is that whenever we get new players come in, they join the Discord and we start talking and we start interfacing and people start playing throughout the week and not just on Sunday. So I definitely encourage you listeners to join our Discord and see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
True.
That's Super Smash recap of.
Thank you. So we're gonna move into our quick updates.
Yep.
Also, Blue, this is kind of in your wheelhouse. We got some new Final Fantasy 14 news.
Yes, this is what we were going to talk about. So, one of the main reasons why I've allocated more time to Final Fantasy recently is because the newest update 5.3 is dropping. Now, Jeff, earlier you mentioned how Destiny was kind of like slowly releasing their expansion story. That's something Final Fantasy has been doing for a long time, and that's what they're doing right now. They're dropping the next installment, 5.3, on August 11th. Now, the big news that more people are concerned about is the free-to-play option that they have now upgraded.
Yeah, tell me the particulars of this free trial.
Particulars. Now, the thing with this free trial, right, is I don't know why I said that. I was just feeling it. This was a great word to say that with. Before, your free-to-play trial can bring you up to level 35, and you're doing mostly just the first story, which is the Realm Reborn story that tackles the first calamity. Gamer and I went through that. It's definitely dragging. Now, there's some good news on that. So hold on to your horses. One, they've raised the level cap for free-to-play to level 60, and they've allowed the free-to-play people to play through Heavensward, which is the very first expansion. So let me tell you something. That is a lot of time that you can be putting into this game and understand it before you decide whether you want to purchase it or not. Now, obviously, free trial is to get you to want to purchase it, right?
And it's still a monthly subscription. It's
still a monthly subscription, yeah. I personally pay for the year, so I don't have to think about that. And I think it's like 60 or 70 for the year.
Not terrible.
It's really not, especially like the amount of content. What's that?
I think other than that, it's like $14.99 a month.
Right, $14.99 a month, exactly. But this is the big thing that's gonna hurt when you're playing free to play. You can't join a free company, which is like a guild, and you can't join a specific party. Now you can play with other people for sure, but you can't say, "Hey, let me jump into y'all's party and leave you do all this stuff."
So wait, you can't team up with your friends?
No. Now, There's ways to finesse that. And your friend's like, okay, let's all click this button at the same time and queue up for this specific dungeon, and we'll get it. And it works. It does work. But at the same time, it takes a lot more coordination, and you don't get the party buffs, and you don't get the free company buffs. It is, and at the same time,
that's not the game
Yoshi
experience.
What's that?
Because like that's not that game's experience. Like the whole point of MMOs is like playing with your friends and with groups and stuff, right? Like I feel like they're kind of robbing.
I think we gotta reach out to Square Enix and let them know.
You're gonna reach out. Yoshi P or Naoki Yoshida, the producer director of the team. He said this is all. He said it plainly, like it is gonna be a little frustrating, but we want y'all to buy the game, and we want you to experience this with your friends. Your friends are paying for it. We want you to do it too. That's basically what he was saying. Now, on top of that, the first story is notorious. The Realm Reborn is notorious for dragging the heck on. I think Gamer can attest to that.
Yes.
So he explained why it dragged on in the past and how it's going to change in the future. So I'm going to try and get through this real quick. In the past, they had to do a rework because the initial launch was crappy, to say the least. When they were redoing the stories, they made every quest, they tried to average it 9 minutes. If you do everything, boom, 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 it's going to be 9 minutes. You're going to get a certain amount of experience. And that was like the easier way for them to design it at the time. He's going back now and saying, that's stupid. People ain't got time to put in the same amount of time for combat that they have to grow crops or something like that you have to do for somebody. So they've now had the time and they've taken every quest into consideration, how much time it actually warrants, while still giving you the same amount of experience, which is pretty dope in my opinion. So overall, the story is going to shrink in the amount of time that you need to play it. And it's not going to drag as much. Gamer and I, when we went through it, we're pretty much brain dead at one point. There's certain points where I'm like, okay, we got to wake up again and watch these cutscenes. Other than that, just keep skipping through it. But
what level is are you guys?
I
I got some level 80s, which are max level.
I have a level 52 black mage. There we go.
Okay, I might come back to.
Yeah,
Good,
yeah.
man. Come check it out.
You
If I
guys
get that big mount,
have
just
fun.
saying.
Yeah, and you know what? It was funny when I was reading the articles. They said, Final Fantasy 14 is their favorite game that they never recommend to their, only because it takes a large amount of dedication to get into that. And if you're not interested, I don't want you on there because you're just gonna be complaining the whole time. I'm not gonna lie. But if you're ready to grind and you're ready to put in that work,
Story.
what's that?
I think I'm this close to ending the main story.
Oh, son, you get on now, man. We'll knock it out. We'll knock it out real quick. But anyway, that's kind of the long and short of it. Yeah, it's a lot of really good improvements. Of course, they're continuing the story. Now we get to see kind of what I was talking about earlier. What these missions that the big bad is sending all these civilians on. And we're gonna see if we can protect them in the background and see what's going on. So.
Right,
Yeah.
Cool. So what's our next update? This real quick feel-good story.
The feel-good story. Yes. Black Girl Magic. Let me find my notes right here. Okay. So in promotion of The Old Guard, this new movie on Netflix that I still need to watch.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, either, but I've only heard good things.
Yeah, I've only heard good things too. And it's a black woman who's the director. So that's another plus. These three beautiful young black women, Jayla, Bliss-Kai, and Mulvana, won a Netflix-sponsored Apex tournament this last week, and I was watching the final kills. These girls were going in like zero mercy, bro. Straight shotties everywhere, people's faces. It was dope. They called themselves Team Bliss, and they won. They knocked it out the park. They get now like a lifetime. They call it immortal subscription to Netflix.
Yeah, it's like some it's like 80 something years of free Netflix or something.
Yeah, that's wild. On top of that, Netflix put them on Showcase and vice versa. They put and they, it was all to promote the Old Guard and to promote these wonderful women that are amazing at Apex.
It was like an all female tournament, right?
That's correct. Yeah. The main girl who left the comments for the article, Ninjayla, that's her like Twitch channel. I was looking at some of her stuff. She's amazing. Y'all should definitely check her out and her whole Team Bliss out. But congratulations to y'all, and keep it up. You know what I'm saying?
Nice. Congrats. Well done. That's going to do it for our quick updates. Gamer, what do you got for us in the movies universe?
All right. So, surprising absolutely no one. Oh dear, Mulan is going to be delayed indefinitely. And cue surprise. Yeah,
I think that is actually a little surprising. Yeah, I think that is a bit of a shock.
They released a trailer during COVID stuff. So I was just like, oh, okay, they're actually doing this.
All right, so the spokesperson said in a statement, over the last few months, it's become clear that nothing can be set in stone when it comes to how we release films during this global health crisis, obviously. And today that means pausing our release plans for Mulan as we assess how we most effectively can bring this film to audiences around the world. Now, as I was going through this article, there was one little phrase that bothered me, and it said archival titles can only get the market so far while the summer weather is conducive to the current drive-in boom. Studios need theaters to be open, and theaters need studios to release new product. I don't quite understand that, and I only say that because there are other ways for that content to be released. So when I initially was reading that and thought studios need theaters to be open, I'm just like, that's just more reason for the anti-maskers to make my life worse.
Like,
and I'll put it to you like this. As Mr. Gamer, I have gone to 0 cons this year. I have basically been in this house since 2020 has started. I would love to go out and do something. I would love to go out and see something. And even all of the other changes that are stated in this article, I'll only name a few. So we have Avatar 2, 3, 4, and 5 all pushed back to their years, going all the way back to 2028, which, obviously really sucks. But because of this article, I want to pose this question to you guys. Do you agree that this pandemic will permanently change the way media, and I'm meaning big media like your blockbusters and things like that, the pandemic has changed how audiences will have to absorb that? Because I can't imagine a socially distanced movie theater. That's not a whole lot of tickets for something like that.
I would have stopped you after you said, this pandemic has changed anything. I think it's changing the world. And yeah, it's going to definitely change how we consume media. I don't know, maybe I'm missing something. I don't know why there's not a huge comeback for drive-in theater. Like that, I think
I saw Michael B. Jordan and Queen Latifah just opened up a few black-owned pop-up drive-in movie theaters.
Okay, yeah, I think that's the biggest answer.
Yeah, I think there is a boom. Like they said in an article that there's a boom of it in some places, like maybe not everywhere, but it's happening in some places. But then the problem is that symbiotic relationship. Whereas, okay, we have a place for us to screen movies safely, but the movie theaters, because the majority are still, not drive-in and are closed, the studios aren't releasing them. So it's like, so they don't have anything. They have to keep showing old movies, which doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
once those theaters open up, they're gonna need drivers for people to come in. And those new movies are going to be the drivers for people to actually go in. So they're not releasing them it kind of helps. It's like a stimulus package for movie theaters. If they release all these in drive-thrus, when the theaters actually open back up, there's no, I'm sure they're going to open back up. I don't think there's an if. There's some that already opened it back up from what I read. They just have social distancing seating. So when you go to pick your seats, there's seats that are automatically grayed out, so they can't be selected.
So they can't be so close, right?
And I think that's what they mean by that symbiotic relationship, where theaters need movies to come out, and movie theater needs theaters. Because even if they release it on digital, it's not going to do as good as it traditionally does in a movie theater.
It's not the stupid amounts of money that we were paying for.
And that's why they release movies, because of the amount of money it makes. And that's also why they put the amount of money that they put into it. So
those ticket prices are ridiculous.
Yes, they are. We pay them. We pay them. I pay them. I was like, movie theaters. That's the price when we go to the movie theater. We subconsciously know that this is what we're going to be spending. We know that that's what it is.
Yeah, it's kind of.
So that's why we don't go to the movie theaters every day, and that's also why Movie Pass didn't last because of their crazy price.
Yeah, there was no
actually
profit margin.
Yeah,
So,
so
I
it's
guess so. The bottom
was
fell
like
out
a
of that.
negative profit margin from what I read. So I think that is what it is. And also, if they go digitally, once again, it can't be considered for any type of award during these, the Grammys or Oscars.
Yes, there is
Well,
that.
I mean
That's
that could change. I don't think that's as big as an issue as just the loss of money that these studios are looking at.
Money.
And the thing is, because like at first you'll be like, what? Why not just release it on your streaming services and whatnot? Like that'll solve your issue. I think Disney has a unique problem in that because like maybe Universal, for example, could be like, all right, well, let's do a digital thing and you pay maybe a slightly lower price than what you would for a movie ticket and you watch it at home. Disney just released Disney Plus. So if they were to then tell you, okay, you're paying for a subscription service, but now that we have Mulan out, pay another thing so that they can get those like ticket prices versus everyone who's sharing a Disney Plus subscription, they kind of don't want to see that money disappear, which is why they're like, you know what, we'll just hold it. We'll just wait till the movies come back and then we'll release it then. So like it makes sense from like a business standpoint that they kind of just want to recoup or at least try to get as close to what they would have if everything was back to normal. But yeah, things are going to change. Like something's going to have to give in this situation. I don't know what it is. Because like Blue makes a good point. Like I don't think it's a when the theaters open up because some of them are hemorrhaging money and they might go bankrupt before they see the end of this.
Yeah.
So that's a situation that who the hell knows what happens after that.
I'm sure, like you saw, like Amazon was looking to buy, what was it?
Yeah.
So stuff like that. So I think there's things to keep them afloat because there is no other way for them. I mean, there is no curbside. There is no
curbside pickup for delivery. You're right. Yeah, like
but I mean, but curbside
so well.
Curbside movie theaters are driving movies.
Yeah, but I mean that's not an option for everyone. That's the thing. And like they need that wide network of theaters to kind of recoup the money that they want. Like, because there are no drive-in theaters anywhere near me, as far as I know, and I'm not driving an hour and change to get to one at this point. Like, it's just not worth it to me. At least, and especially since the movies aren't releasing anything that I would care that much about. So like that's kind of the rub.
Yeah, and I think they're in accord with that with the movie theaters. That's why these movies are getting pushed back because they, hey, the movie theater they're opening got pushed back, so we're gonna push back. Tenet, there was Mulan, there was a bunch of
Tenet. I was more upset about that. Not that I wasn't upset about Mulan. I was more upset about Tenet than I was because Tenet looked amazing.
It looks really cool. It's a Nolan joint,
oh
so
goodness.
It's got a lot of hype.
Tenet looked amazing.
So I mean, all we can do is wait and see what the hell happens with this ongoing situation. Like of all businesses, like movies seem to have been struggling kind of. I don't want to say the most, but they're up there.
That and fast fashion.
Loudest about it.
And what fashion?
Fast fashion.
What is fast fashion?
That.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Maybe I'm just not familiar with that.
Yeah, I've never heard it before.
So, like Forever 21, Gap, all those places where typically you would go inside, you would get the latest thing, and then after that, the next week, you'd see some fashion model wearing the next one. Well, because no one can go into those stores and get that anymore, those kind of stores are closing down because you don't have people going into your stores anymore to buy all of those clothes. Secondhand stores, no one wants that anymore because everyone's scared.
And also, where are you going in your latest fashion?
Exactly, 100%. No, you absolutely
that makes a lot of sense.
What am I going to impress on my Zoom call?
They better be making hella shirts, bro, because they know we wearing pants.
Boom.
The pants industry has been the hardest hit in this COVID pandemic.
Forget the movie industry. R.I.P.
R.I.P. the pants.
Down. They were open for people to come in. So in different areas, there are actually opening back up.
I thought Modell's had been closed. When you said that to me, I was surprised.
That's just you.
Wait, Modell?
You guys are familiar with Modell's, right? The sporting? No, I don't know. Maybe it's a local thing. Like there was a lot of Modell's in Jersey, maybe, or at least North Jersey area. But yeah, I thought they was finished, but apparently not.
I Wait, isn't Modelo beer or cigarettes?
Modelo.
It's a
Thank
sport.
you. Okay.
It's
Modelo
like
is a beer.
Thank you.
Oh, you're saying Modelo is a sports drink?
a sports store. So you
Store.
can buy
Oh,
like,
okay, okay.
Yeah,
you know,
like
it's
sporting
like Dick's
goods
pretty
store.
much.
Yeah, like
It's like-
Dick's. Yeah, like a smaller Dick's. Anyway, we're gonna move on to our next topic. Blue, what do you got for us?
Oh man, I think I got a new title for this podcast, but this one, okay, we gotta get a little serious for this.
Oh
All
my
right.
god.
Yeah, this one is actually kind of sad, and a little disgraceful. But U.S. Army leaves Twitch after recruitment drive mishap. Now, the U.S. Army and the Navy have been using esports to recruit. I think that's the simplest way to put it. They've been using esports to recruit. They've been going to tournaments. They've been holding their own. They've been trying to make personal connections with gamers and say, hey, why don't you just join up and we can do that, you know? And we don't even need to talk about the morality of that necessarily, but there was a Twitch account, Jordan Uhl, that was supposedly supporting Eddie Gallagher, which is a ex-Navy SEAL who was guilty of war crimes in South Vietnam back in the day. And they had a lot of sailors and soldiers commenting about Eddie Gallagher on this Twitch periodically, and then trying to hype this Twitch channel up on orders, basically. So what that means is you got a superior telling somebody, hey, tomorrow you need to join Twitch, follow this person, make these kind of content, and hype this up. And they did it slowly so the spam bots wouldn't find them. It was very underhand, very shady, very slimy. And of course, people caught on. Twitch shut them down initially before they said anything, and then AOC, we know the New York Congresswoman, she wants to put an amendment to the First Amendment, or she wants to add on to the First Amendment and say the U.S. government cannot use these kind of mediums to recruit, and that's the morality side of it. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's because like on the one hand, like as a militaristic entity that does not do a draft anymore, they do need to recruit, right?
They need to.
So advertise, like they have commercials and whatnot. The America's Army video game is a thing that they've done in the past to try to get attention. Like advertising, like I feel like that's fine. Like they do what they need to do.
Yeah.
But like it's this is like weirdly, because the other thing in the story that's mentioned is like they were like doing some kind of a competition where like they were telling viewers click this link to enter into like this competition sweepstakes thing. They would click the link and like it was literally just a sign up page for recruitment. Like it had nothing to do with the competition. So like if someone wasn't paying enough attention and was like, oh, I want to enter this competition, I put all my name, blah 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 blah, then you just signed up for the army without any kind of prize, right? Like
not that simple. But you at least signed up with your information for them to call you to recruit and push that further. And it's funny, Gamer, you were holding up one earlier, the Xbox Pro Controller. It was a Series 2, and Jeff, you recently got one.
Yep.
That's what they were offering.
Yeah.
If you signed up for this stuff. And they when people ask, or when they're asked about it later, they're like, oh, only certain people were able to see the giveaway details, and the majority of folks did not see giveaway details. It was only Army recruitment. And it was sad that they're tricking people like that. You know what I mean? Or trying to trick people. And one thing I think should be mentioned, in Great Britain, their army was they had a £121,000 contract with Twitch, where they had specific days where they can actually promote and try and recruit for the army. So that was like a lot more structured and out in the open, and I think that was put in the article to kind of give a contrast on how it could be done.
Yeah, because I don't think it's a terrible thing for the army to tell you that they want people to join them, right?
By no means.
Yeah, so but it's just like why are they going through this weird back channel? Like what's going on?
This war criminal. It's
well,
you know,
the way I understood that situation, it was that like, and it's possible people were trolling the army account by like going in there and asking questions about these situations about a war criminal, and what they were doing was blocking them. They were like kind of silencing that speech, and the problem that arose is that this is a government account, right? So you as the government can't police the way people talk about you. You can't not have people criticize you as a government.
The First Amendment was brought up multiple times to trying to define that.
Yeah, like it's weird because it is Twitch. Like as an individual, if I were on Twitch and someone was saying something I didn't like, I'm free to basically kick them out of my chat, right? Like I don't need you to do whatever. But when it's the government, like it gets a lot more shaky. But it's the government on Twitch, so kind of what rule prevails? I don't know.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, this sounds very similar to two incidents. One where it was ruled that Donald Trump could not just block people or something like that on Twitter. And wasn't there also something where it was either him or a channel about him that was removed from Twitch?
Oh yeah, there was. I think we talked about it a couple ago.
I'm trying to remember it, but yeah, I think we did cover this.
I think Trump had a Twitch account that was basically regurgitating a lot of the falsities that he tends to do, and then that specifically, Twitch was like, no, get off the platform. You're not doing anything constructive here. So
and some of those associated accounts also got.
Now, the one thing, and I know not going to be on a long tangent or anything like that. As I was reading this, though, I got actually really concerned because of the medium that they were using to advertise it, because it's the type of media that's just going to be unfiltered into eyes that can't really determine, hey, these people are using this game as an advertisement and they are recruiting me, but that does not mean that I'm going to have the experience that I am seeing on Twitch. And I am so, it makes me just really grimy and it makes me feel really uncomfortable using games for that, because it's so different. Like, it's nothing like to my knowledge, there is not a game as realistic as what you might experience if you were actually there. Like, whether you're wearing like,
I'd be surprised. And there's a reason why I don't play certain games, because you'd be surprised how close it is to reality.
I will take your word for that and run with it, good sir.
Well, I would say on the flip side of that, like that desensitizing of kind of the nature of like warfare, I feel like does kind of go hand in hand with what the army kind of wants to do, like, which is why they latch on to gamers so much, because with a lot of technology, like drone stuff specifically, like you can actually make it so that the interface is very game-like. Like you're hitting strategic targets in a different country, but you're looking at a screen and, you know, painting targets and da-da-da-da. Like that's pretty much a game. Like they've gamified war.
Yeah. And so I don't think that they shouldn't use games or Twitch to recruit, but I think it should be very clear.
Yeah, it needs to be upfront.
Is being, yeah. I really do.
So for the time being, they've kind of retreated entirely. So like they got all these complaints, all these situations happened. They basically just went like, all right, shut it down.
We won't dial it back.
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna make a return in some fashion in the future, but for now, like they don't have a presence on Twitch anymore. So
yeah, and that's just the army. The Navy has.
The Navy still does.
maybe, man. I don't know if they still got it, but they ain't said nothing. Maybe he's on some other stuff, yeah.
Okay, so we'll leave that where it lies. We're gonna move on into our next topic. G4 TV apparently is going to be coming back in some form or fashion.
That's a throwback.
Yeah, IGN was doing their regular kind of summer games stuff, like their Comic-Con at home segment. Like they were kind of going through new stuff, and apparently this kind of teaser trailer played. It takes you through like a warehouse. You're seeing like a bunch of like references to a lot of old G4 like jokes, like stuff from Attack of the Show, stuff from X-Play, stuff, and then like they give you like that Pong screen, which notoriously G4 first aired Pong, and then when it went off the air, aired Pong, kind of like to bookend it. You see Pong playing on TV, and then incoming transmission interrupts that, and then you just get the G4 logo, and it's like super cryptic. No one knows what that means. Like after seeing that, like I went on Twitter because I follow almost all of the old, like the bigger old G4 hosts. Adam Sessler retweeted it, but he didn't seem. Either they're playing coy or like they don't know what. Like he was like, "Oh, this is an interesting development," is what he wrote. Morgan Webb, if you remember, like Adam Sessler's co-host, she wrote, "I'm just surprised someone remembered the password to that Twitter account." So like they're making comments about it. Everyone is kind of on it and looking at it, but no one seems to have any information as to what this is. Like, so what are you guys' thoughts? Like, first of all, what are your relationships with G4 as a network, and then like what are you thinking it could come back as? Like, can it come back to TV, internet?
It's going to be internet.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 100% internet. I'm not saying, oh yeah, TV is dying, but if the resurgence is to come up, it's going to be it's going to have to be on the internet because you're going to get more people that way.
The IGN app too. You got to think about that. They have their own app where they usually.
Ooh.
No, go ahead. What they usually?
Oh, where they usually air some of that stuff. The whole summer of games, you were able to watch it through the actual IGN app. So I mean, so that's another thing. So that way they don't have to kind of, because like you said, TV, nobody's gonna watch it on TV. It's just not gonna happen. But it gives you the option of on your phone, gives you the option on your console, gives you the option of watching it whenever you want. So.
All right. So
yeah.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, me personally, G4 was never in my house growing up. However, I knew about it. My friends had it at their place, and that was like the heaven of TV shows. Every time I went over there, I was like, "Oh my god, is G4 on? Like, can we watch something?" And yeah, so I only saw it a handful of times, but it was such a good platform to. At the time, it was a good platform to discover new games. You know what I mean? Now, granted, streaming wasn't a thing back then. YouTube videos were not nearly as prevalent, if at all, at that point. But the fact is,
no, I mean they overlap some.
They overlap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the internet, because that's kind of what Attack of the Show's culture was kind of based around, was like internet videos and whatnot.
True. But I guess for gaming specifically is what I'm talking about. You didn't see
like not like the Let's Play stuff. No, yeah, that came
exactly.
after.
Yeah, and that's what G4 kind of represented to me. It was like, okay, I get to see all this other stuff that I didn't read in Game Informer at the time. So yeah, I'd love another shot at watching this show or this network and yeah, seeing it grow, man. I want to see a standard. What's that?
I said the question also now is, since all that stuff is so readily available to you in other mediums and other sources, what are they going to have to offer that's going to draw people to actually watch it?
Well, that's a good question, because I would say there were always like a ton of different like video game entities, right? The thing that made G4 unique was that it was on TV, right? But I will say that G4 actually had like a quality of video game coverage that rivaled IGN. Like IGN was, I believe, still number one, but like G4 was like number two in terms of just their coverage, their insightfulness, like their access to the industry, because publishers wanted to be connected to a cable channel. You know what I mean? So like when like the internet streaming stuff first started getting legs, remember like we used to experience E3 strictly through magazines like months after it happened or whatever, or reading it like play by play. Once the streaming stuff came up, it was G4 that was putting E3 on TV. Remember? True. Like that's where you would get to see it. IGN kind of borrowed that format and started doing their live stream stuff after the fact. So like they were very innovative in that sense. And if they do take kind of what they were doing, that core group of people and whatnot, because it does have a ton of reverence still to this day. If they can kind of capitalize on that, take it to the internet, I feel like they could build up and basically be another rival, like a rival once again to IGN, because IGN does all the same stuff that G4 did.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but are you suggesting that they rely on nostalgia?
No, I'm saying, well, nostalgia is definitely going to give them a boost. Like they have name recognition, which is super important in the world, period.
To us, not maybe to some of the younger gamers. They're not really going to know who these people are. And if they already have a source where they're getting this information from, what's going to make them jump over to them?
Those are the questions I'm trying to ask.
It's going to be the personalities, I guess, right? And
that's what it has
they're going to need new faces for sure, which I'm sure they'll have to get, because like Olivia Munn's not coming back. Like she's an actress now, isn't she?
you know what people are going to say when you get new faces? Oh, I like the old ones better. Oh, these guys suck. Who are these people? Da, 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 da.
Well, will it be
matter what?
Will it be all new faces? Like they can mix and match it. Like Kevin Pereira's career, he was on True TV for a time, and then he started doing The Attack, which is his own internet show, which was kind of trying to do the Attack of the Show thing. I don't think it's been hitting as well because he's been doing it mostly solo, I think. But there's some popularity there. I don't know if he'll be involved. I don't know if Adam Sessler would be involved because he owns a company now doing consulting and whatnot, and regularly has Twitter meltdowns. He might be a little too controversial at this point to come back. Like I have no idea what Morgan Webb's been doing. She may come back. Like Allison Hayslip, Jeff Kiley, who is like the biggest like known game journalist. Period. Like he's best friends with Kojima and like. He was very tied to G4, so I don't know. Like maybe this is his baby. Maybe he's bringing this back in some way. And like he has a ton of connects. He can get some pull and get exclusive this, exclusive that. Who knows? Like there's a lot of potential for this to just be just another big gaming media empire. And again, like I say it all the time, like competition helps. Like I want them to be. I want to have different viewpoints of the same thing. Like no one's bigger than IGN right now.
Yeah.
Like. And I respect IGN. Like I love IGN. I like all their reviewers, their editors. Like they do good work there. But G4 was on that level to me. Like I respected a lot of those people too. I would love to see them come back in some form. That's how I feel. Like I legit like X Play was probably like my number one. Like that's where I learned how to do reviews. Like listening to Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb on X Play. Like I respect their craft so much. So, like, I would just love to see them come back in some form or fashion to that universe.
I think that's dope. And I can tell how much respect you have for the G4 cast. Hopefully, the generation today also acknowledges that. That's gonna have to come off something different than it did back in the day. The format's gonna have to be different, man, because these are different people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see
we got
what they
weird
do.
dances now, and that wasn't really a thing. You know what I mean?
At least not on the internet, because
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the chicken noodle soup dance was a weird dance. I don't care if you grew up on it. It's dumb.
Wait, which dance?
You don't remember the chicken noodle soup with a soda on the side? No.
Oh yeah.
It was always dumb. It's not less dumb because you did it when you were a kid.
I'll disagree, but that's all right.
But I think that's about it for G4 stuff. We're gonna move into our final topic. Jeff, what do you got for us on the Xbox news?
So Xbox recently had an event where they kind of showcased their first party games. I think it was July 23rd. Me, Sigma, and we had a guest. I forgot who it
I
was.
want to say it was KSI Killer,
Killer?
maybe.
Yep. We kind of watched and talked about it as it was happening. Some things were good. Some things were underwhelming. Um, some things were nice to see and expected to see as much as we saw. Other things we expected to see a little bit more based on how long it's been talked about. Um, did you guys get to see it? And what were your thoughts based on this particular event compared to the last one?
Oh man, I think the biggest thing that stuck out for me, and I don't want to say that this is the only thing that I noticed, but the biggest thing, and I'm still trying to get over it. How did Crossfire X look much better than Halo? Like significant. First of all, Crossfire X initially, when I first saw like footage of this stuff back a while back, I was like, oh, this is like a Counter-Strike wannabe kind of deal. And then I guess I didn't pay enough attention because this game looks amazing. It actually looks really, really good, in my opinion.
They definitely showed a much more action heavy trailer. Like, remember, like Crossfire X, it was like a supercut of like what looks like campaign stuff, like situations in like probably like Call of Duty-esque set pieces is what they were showing you, like a supercut of. So yes, that looked like way more interesting than Halo's kind of extended campaign walkthrough, where you got off the ship after a little cutscene, you fought a couple of grunts. You like the only thing they showed that was like new was like the grappling hook thing, and then him like picking up a canister and chucking it at people. Yeah, honestly, it really did not impress. Like that's how I came away with.
It looked like Halo 2 tops.
It looked like Halo 5.
It looked like Halo 2 tops, in my opinion. Y'all are being very generous with Halo.
I was expecting them to show more. And what do people want to see? Most people don't care about the campaign. We want to see the multiplayer. Show me what's new. That's what always draws people in, is the multiplayer. I mean, I play Halo. I play the multiplayer. I mean, I play the campaign as a one-off. I mean, any first-person shooter, I always play the campaign as, just to learn what's going on and then to get the story. But the majority of my time is spent in the multiplayer.
But I think for Halo specifically, like I feel like it's more of an even footing. Like I can see that for like Call of Duty because people are like, oh, it's the same thing over and over. But I feel like Halo has a story and like a lore that a lot of people like connect with. And especially since they were saying this is a brand new engine, it's gonna be like an open world thing. It seems like I just wanted them to tell me what's new, like show me what's changing about Halo as I know it. And instead, they kind of went for, you know what? We want to go back to the roots of Halo, and they showed you something that was very reminiscent of like Halo 1.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I do want to mention because a lot of people had that kind of criticism, and Microsoft did have a response.
True.
That that it was an early build, and that the stream quality just wasn't quite there.
Son.
And I'm like, you can stop. You cut that out. Just
that kind of sounded like excuses.
That's a terrible excuse.
I feel like they need to come a lot harder. The last one, I think they labeled it wrong, so people's expectations were a lot higher than what they could have been if they would have just said, hey, we're going to show you a series of trailers of new games. Not have me expecting gameplay, and then to come to this one, I'm like, okay, they know what they got to do now. They know what they did wrong. Let's fix it. That's what we're going to do now. But they showed us a demo of Halo that they showed before, and it's nothing new. And it's like,
it just didn't excite.
Okay.
Nope, not at all.
So
I think
the biggest things for me from that particular event was State of Decay 3. The trailer looked great.
Hold on, before we jump off of Halo real quick, I just wanted to add, because I did hear after the showcase, some of the editors from like IGN and this place and that place were like talking to other people. Apparently they got to play the demo themselves, and they also got some additional information. Halo was supposed to, like, this new Halo has Metroidvania elements. Like the grappling hook that you saw apparently is something that Master Chief will like explore. He'll like get that upgrade to his armor suit, and then he'll be able to get into other areas.
So everything's supposed to be Breath of the Wild right now?
That 007 game. That 007 game, what was it?
Oh, Nightfire.
where you could use the grappling hook to go up.
Yeah, but I mean the point I'm getting at is like that would have excited me. Like as like an avid Metroidvania fan, like if they would have showed me like that's something that's changing about how Halo functions, I'd be like, oh, that's cool. Like I'm interested to see more now. But they didn't. Like they showed that it's a thing that exists. Like it could very well just be equipment or just an extra power that he has. Not that this is a thing that's gonna help him get someplace, or that he'll get more stuff like this that'll help him do these things to enemies or these things to the environment.
I'm tired of Breath of the Wild clones. Like that's
Breath of the Wild is amazing. So honestly, if they're good, bring them.
I'm tired of the clones.
So the thing is, I think their issue is not more so not having the content. It's how they're presenting it.
Yeah.
And the information that they're given. It's like, I have all this exciting information I want to show you, but I just give you it in the layman's terms that I could possibly give it to you.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Agreed.
what the issue is.
100%, yeah.
Especially with a game like Halo that has all this hype behind it. I mean,
like, that's your biggest...
What title does Xbox have that's bigger than Halo?
And they showed it like that?
You know what? Minecraft, maybe.
Minecraft? It's on its way.
But I mean, Minecraft is not the poster boy, though. Like, Halo is the thing that sells constantly, because Minecraft is everywhere, Halo is what's going to sell them on Xbox ecosystem.
Me was the open world aspect. It looked like there's more of a strategy aspect to it, where kind of like in Division, where you could take points and you could fortify those points. And then if you don't fortify them, or enemies can take them back, and then you have to retake them. Stuff like that. Like I do like that introduction to it. It does add... It's
like Ubisoft Outposts.
From Halo. Yeah, something that they haven't done that's new, that's interesting. I did like that.
Just basically open world tropes just take everything you know about open worlds, everything else, chuck it in the Halo world, right?
Yeah.
They didn't show that.
No. Especially with like the, to me, the vehicles before were used in that specific area or in that mission. Now, you can use the vehicles to pretty much go wherever you want now. I mean, it's open world, so if you want to fly to one of your checkpoints to the next, you can go ahead and do that. But see, they don't showcase the exciting stuff. It's all about how you present it. And I think they lost a little bit of showmanship when it comes to presenting certain things, and I think that's hurting them.
When I was watching this conference, the overall vibe, and I guess when I was sitting and reminiscing, thinking about Sony and Microsoft, I'm like, you know what? Sony did start as a art company, a company that made art. They focused on that. Microsoft started out as computers. You can tell that PlayStation cares a lot about how things look than Microsoft did, and the same criticism we've been given, to let your poster boy look like that, because you knew what the video looked like. It wasn't a surprise to you to make your poster boy look like that in a conference where people are paying attention and nitpicking everything. What are you doing? To
reach back in and find somebody who this is what they do. You know what I'm saying? Like, give them the footage and let them cut together. Because I'm guessing 343 Studios is who put that together. I'm guessing. I mean, I doubt they would have an outside entity. Hey, let's put this together. This is what we want to showcase. I feel like that is probably the worst Halo reveal I've seen. Well, trailer that I've seen or presentation of it in general. Even the
100%.
tease for 5 was better than this. You know what I'm saying? When it just shows Master Chief picking up the dog tags and was he in a desert or something, that was more mysterious.
Exactly.
It gave you something. This was, hey, here's some gameplay, but we're going to give you the lamest gameplay that we have.
Basically.
It's like, even if it was why would you show us that and then have us, we're expecting to see that, and that's bad.
Yes.
Even if it was an early build, why would you show us that?
Yes.
Because you don't care.
They could have showed that, but that shouldn't have been where it ended.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
They're like, y'all go sign up for Game Pass anyway. Don't worry about
Most
it. Doesn't
presentations start out like that. Like, hey, this is when you first get to this area. This is what's gonna happen. This is the world you're in. This is who you're dealing with. And then, boom. Here's all this action. This is what's going on. New feature here. This is what's going on. These are the enemies you're fighting. They said they're the banished, but all I saw was a hologram. So and then they're talking about not doing a beta, the
Yeah.
multiplayer beta.
They said that, but that seems to be more like logistical things, like maybe with
But I
COVID
get
and
it doesn't
whatnot.
add to draw people to want to play it.
Yeah.
When you give a beta, especially something as far as Halo goes, here's the multiplayer beta.
Especially,
Oh,
yeah,
you
traditionally
play
it's done that in the past too. So
yeah. It
Let's
builds
talk about.
hype.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good. I'm finished.
I wasn't trying to cut you off, bro. I just want to say, let's get to the.
So I mean that is how the conference started off with Halo, but
Yes.
on a positive note, Microsoft said at the beginning everything that they showed was going to be coming to Game Pass, and everything was a first party exclusive. If not, it was a launch exclusive.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Console launch
we
exclusive.
saw State of Decay 3.
Yeah, just got a teaser trailer for that.
Yes.
No gameplay, but I'm pretty sure that's like way early in development. So
Yes. Now,
I was fine with that.
speculation from the trailer, I'm guessing it's going to be open world. I'm guessing they learned their mistakes.
I mean, it was already open world.
Yeah.
Well, before, what I mean by it was open world-esque, where you had an area you were in. Once that area was completed, you drove through the next, and then loading screen, and then you were in the next town. So it wasn't really open world.
I don't.
Yeah, there were different zones you were in. Once you completed that one area, like the hills or whatever, then you went to the next area, which had a whole different set of bases and whatnot.
But could you go back to the first one?
Yeah.
But open world to me is open world. You don't have to load in and go to another area.
I don't
doesn't
think you have
cut-
to load in State of
Yeah, you did.
I
Well, that
I reviewed the most recent expansion. I want like you played with me.
Yeah, but you were only in the one area. You weren't in the entire. You didn't go to the next area.
Well,
This-
okay, I know what
this-
you're saying. Okay,
Yeah.
State of Decay has different maps. That's what they do.
Yes, that's what I mean.
But like each map is kind of its own thing. It's not like you can like once you escape the map, then you can choose to go to like the other map. But it's not like it's not part of it in terms of I'm going back and forth. So I get what you're saying.
it's more like levels than it is. all
Yeah, but
connected.
each map is kind of like its own open
World.
thing.
But when I think of open world, I think
Like
of
everything is just all
seamless.
okay.
Yeah,
Like,
that makes sense. Yeah.
Assassin's Creed, the whole
Yeah.
Greek island is open world.
Mm-hmm.
I can sail from one end of the map of the world to the other end of the world, and I don't have to go through a loading screen.
Got you.
If that makes sense. So I hope it is that. I hope they did learn from their mistakes in the last one. I mean, like you said, they do have Microsoft behind them, so that's a little bit more money to kind of maybe do some of the things they wanted to do, but
Yeah.
necessarily
Kind of
couldn't.
flesh out all the systems and
Yeah, but I'm excited about it.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
cautiously optimistic because I've liked the concept of it, but like in its execution, like State of Decay 2 just really didn't hold me. Like I want what they're selling. They just gotta they gotta expand. Like it's gotta be like a bigger production, and this is literally the chance to do that. So let's see.
I was gonna mention we talked about State of Decay 2 just last week when we were talking about the lack of depth of the characters that you play
Oh
with.
right, with like Watch Dogs, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because that's we were talking about Watch Dogs Legion. So, for me to consider this third one, I'd have to see that depth.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Like I feel like it needs to be more like was it DayZ,
Okay.
where it was actually you go into houses, you find these things. It was more more inclusive as opposed to I felt disconnected from the characters in
Yeah,
State of
because
Decay.
you kind of
Yeah.
they're disposable in a sense, right?
Yeah.
And they all got like just 1 or 2 powers.
Yeah. It was like a smaller scale to what Watch Dogs Legion's trying to do, where each character has different sets of abilities, and once you lose those characters, they're permadead. Now you lose that set of skills as well. So, and each character, based on their skills, are good at different things. that's what they were going for, but I felt like it always felt like a beta to me, like something was missing.
Yeah, I see that.
The controls were janky.
That is
They
true.
were pretty- Yeah.
They fixed some of that with that expansion, like,
Juggernaut.
Okay.
but it's still just not where it needs to be. So I don't know.
what
Some people
else did
love
we
that
see?
game though, by the way. So
Yeah.
folks were excited when that showed up. But
I mean, it looks good from a trailer standpoint, but I guess we'll see when they get a little further along. But what about Fable?
It's funny you mentioned that.
Mhm.
And I forgot to put it into my what I've been playing this. But before we saw the article that Fable, like the rumors were around, I picked up I downloaded Fable 2 and I played like the first hour and some change of it. Man, this game actually still holds up. Like it didn't feel like a 360 game, like obviously graphically, but the controls itself, they're pretty smooth. And I was like, okay.
yeah, I enjoyed
And
Fable
then and then we saw the rumor, and I was like, "Oh snaps!" And then we saw the reveal, like, "Oh yeah!" I'm excited, man. It's gonna be dope.
'Cause I think last
hope
year this is one of my wishes. So I'm exactly
Yes.
happy about this. Yes.
Actually, remember you mentioned that.
Um,
The only thing is, I hope they don't copy the last game.
no,
Fable
I
3.
hope they leave the last game alone. I hope this is a reboot.
Yeah, it seems like a reboot.
Reboot.
Like the
I don't-
title was just Fable, you know what I mean? Not Fable 4.
Yeah.
So it seems like a reboot. It seems like what I'm hoping is also that they change the art style. Cause like I was just never a fan of the look of Fable. Like I like
World
what
of
they
Warcraft.
yeah, it's like kind of the big arms and just goofy like kind of switch that up a little bit, please. Like
And
retain
they
the
did in
humor.
the third game actually.
Still,
It
the
looked
third,
a lot cleaner.
I still didn't like it. Like the core,
Okay.
the core, and it's kind of a thing that they do, like kind of Renaissance art type look. Kind
Everything's
of
kind
this,
of flared out.
like this kind of European style cartoonishness.
Yeah,
Like I
no,
don't
it's
like
really-
it. I think it's ugly.
Got you.
Get out. Do you think their claims or what's going to be in the game are going to be a lot more grounded compared to what the outlandish things that used to be insinuated that you could do in the game?
I hope not.
Oh, you mean like the Peter Molyneux promises? Of...
Yeah.
Well, he's not involved in this at all anymore.
That's
So
what I mean.
yeah,
Would
but
it be
yeah, I don't know. I don't see. But here's the thing, though. Like, Playground Games is who's behind this. Like, they're the team that basically was behind Forza Horizon.
Yeah.
So like they're a racing game studio. But they are based in the UK. They have Microsoft money. They've hired a bunch of new talent for this project. So they're also very talented, mind you. Like, yes, they made racing games, but Forza Horizon has always been quality every single one they've released. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they have a pedigree.
Definitely.
So it's hard to tell kind of what to expect since this is a well-worn studio, but they're doing something brand new. But from the tone of this trailer, they seem to want to keep it as goofy, at least, as the games have been in the past. Like you saw like the little fairy flying around and the frog kind of just eats her. It's kind of grim, but it's supposed to be funny. So I don't know. Like it's really hard to say like what we can expect, but I'm sure that they're looking at the old games and whatever people liked is what they're going to focus on trying to retain. We may have the situation where, like, when any other studio kind of takes over for a known franchise, they first want to prove that they can do it before they really change anything.
Streets of Rage.
Yeah, Streets of Rage. When the Coalition took over Gears, when 343 first took over Halo, like...
Yeah.
So we may be looking at that kind of situation, if anything.
So, anything else on Fable?
For me, not too much.
They didn't show a whole bunch. It's just hype
Wasn't much.
for the future. That's all.
It was just, hey, this is what's coming. But let's move on to Phantasy Star Online Genesis.
Bro. That looked dope.
That got me hyped when we were in that chat.
Yo, that looks how the game would have looked if it came out for Xbox now. You know what I mean? Like if they would have re-released
If it was made for
that type of stuff. Because this is actually an expansion, which means they're gonna be reworking the graphics. This is gonna be
that
hella
HUD
big.
looks so clean,
Oh my
bro.
God.
Like
That was one of my biggest problems with Phantasy Star Online 2. The HUD was just so cluttered because there's a lot.
yeah, it's like
But-
years and years of stuff that they've, I guess, been just bolting onto it.
they
And you can
trimmed
tell
that
it's an
down.
older game. You can tell it's from some years ago
Hmm.
where it didn't age as well. So I think they cleaned it up very nicely, and it looked like a whole new game.
Honestly, I think it is. They're just kind of
It's an
calling it.
expansion.
I mean, yeah, they're like calling it an expansion. They're still using the name Fantasy Star Online 2, but come on, that's not the same engine.
That
Like,
don't look like the same
yeah, like
engine. That looks clean as heck, bro.
and
Oh my
to be fair, we don't know if the game will legit look like that. Like this isn't coming until 2021. This could just be like, you know, like the render that they want it to look like. Maybe
Early build.
yeah, you know, maybe it's running in engine or something, but like once the game is all
Which
bolted
look-
together.
Thinking because it showed actual gameplay. It wasn't just
They
know,
they did show what looked like gameplay. That's true.
Mhm. Yeah.
so.
I did
And
come
it-
across sorry to cut you off. I did come across this document that kind of spelled out, and I should have screenshot it and showed you guys, but it kind of showed what would be transferring over from the old game. A lot of stuff won't.
Were your characters level?
I don't think so. And again, I don't remember. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna show you. Like certain
That doesn't give me an incentive to go back and
and like build up your character, right?
Did
yeah.
y'all see
Yeah,
Jeff's
honestly, it seems
face?
like a. It's like honestly, I'm okay with that myself. Like I would want it to be more like a fresh start.
I mean, when you're not that high, it would be okay for a low level character
Well,
to be okay with it.
but think about it this way, right? They give you
No,
all this
let's
brand.
not. Let's not
So let's
do
not
that.
think about it. That's because like this is gonna come with a bunch of new stuff. You would hope, right? Like new missions, new scenarios, and whatnot. If you come in and you're level like 1 billion and there's all this new stuff to do, you're gonna have to scale up anyway. Like it's gonna be like, all right, now start your process
Yeah,
over, like Monster Hunter's Iceborne thing.
It scales you up, but I would say that the biggest thing is the difference between what they're doing. If they're gonna reset your character, it's equivalent to going from Halo 1 to Halo 2. It's not the equivalent of getting an expansion and getting new content where they raise the threshold and everything kind of just sinks to your level.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't feel as, especially in a game that gives you skill points to use for your stats, because then that resets all your trees, and it's pretty much, like you said. Then at that point, it should be just a new game at that point. Because what's the
Do
point?
we know for sure that all of those things are gonna reset?
Yeah, I will go back and try to find the thing I read.
Let's
It was
get
just
some more before we.
there was a lot that wasn't transferring over, and there were a couple of things that were.
So I'm
but I
guessing
can't-
cosmetic stuff will, because like I mean, what bearing does that have on?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. I'll find it. We'll figure this out.
I'm gonna need you to get that over to me.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna get it over
Send
to
that
me,
on
and
Jeff,
then.
send it to Jeff's office. Have his secretary forward it.
Text that over.
But I also wanted to make mention of the new game that Obsidian's working on, Avowed.
Avowed.
This is a brand new IP, first party Microsoft Studio. Looks a hell of a lot like Skyrim, or just Elder Scrolls in general.
Witcher game at first, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
He's doing
Witcher
a sign?
vibes like crazy.
Yeah, it's like a first person fantasy adventure type thing. And we know Obsidian are the guys who used to make the Fallout games, which are Bethesda games, which is basically the other side of the Elder Scrolls coin from Bethesda. So now it's like this is them getting their chance to make a version of Elder Scrolls with, you know, Microsoft money behind them. This could be kind of a big deal.
It could be.
It's gonna depend on the lore, what the story is.
Mm-hmm.
You think so?
I think so, because for me, those type of games, if the lore, the gameplay could be there, but if the lore isn't there, the story isn't there, then it's not gonna make me be invested in it. You know what I'm saying? Like Elder Scrolls does have the lore. It has, you know, games of lore, books of lore. It gets you involved. I mean, let's say if it was a Lord of the Rings game and it looked like that, I'm like, okay, I'm automatically, when I think of Lord of the Rings, I'm automatically thinking about movies. I'm thinking about hobbits. I'm thinking about
Yeah, because you're
everything.
familiar with
All
that
the
universe
time.
already.
Yeah.
So just
And
being in
without
it is
even playing
appealing.
the game, I'm getting excited. So it's gonna have to have
A good
a
start.
It's gonna have to have a really good story and really good lore.
Well, how did you guys? Because Blue, you played Outer Wilds. I don't know if anyone else did. Not Outer Wilds, sorry, Outer Worlds.
Outer Worlds.
Yeah. World.
So that,
yeah.
So that's Obsidian, the same studio, doing their own personal version of Fallout, which is what they used to do for Bethesda, right? So
yeah.
How did that stack up in comparison to Fallout for you guys? Did they hit the story and stuff?
They hit. It honestly felt like I was playing a futuristic version of New Vegas, and I loved every single moment of it. And I will tell you why. No matter how you play this game, you will get to an ending. Let me be clear. No matter how you decide to play this game, if you decide I will never shoot a bullet, you don't have to. You can completely go through this pacifist. If you decide, you know what? If you blink at me the wrong way, I'm just going to take your head off. And you could just do that with every single person. And at the end of it, you will still get to an ending. It's not like there is no like game breaking. Oh yeah, I'm going to like if I kill this person, oh the quest is over and then I have to restart. Nope. You'll be a psychopath and people will hate you, but you can still keep on going.
That's all part
of it. I love that because that's what role playing is. That was what we had in the previous games with Fallout 76. When let me make sure I be clear. When it first came out, because they've had a series of updates. When it first came out, it was straight garbage. And then you play Outer Worlds, and it's like, oh, okay, so here's my skill tree, and my role playing game. Sorry, that was just so stupid. But then you have a variety of characters all doing their own thing. And like Pavarotti, you sweet summer child Pavarotti.
So you're a fan of their story.
Yes.
Yeah. Outer Worlds definitely reminded me of Knights of the... And that is, for me to say that something compares to a Star Wars game and story, I feel like that's kind of high praise. I loved how just like you said, everything is kind of living and breathing and it's on its own time. When you talk to somebody, when you do something, they notice that it affects the world and you move on. That's dope. Hopefully they can bring that into to Avowed.
So I mean, a lot of that stuff can probably carry over, and now they have Microsoft's backing because Outer Worlds was sort of a shorter version of like a Bethesda type open world RPG, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it was relatively short. There were a few side quests, but you can go through the game so quickly in so many different play styles where it's like, had I punched the granny to get the key to the vault, this would have happened instead. Oh, okay.
Right. So imagine that extrapolated out with the resources they're now afforded. So I don't know.
It's gonna fill that void because you won't see Elder Scrolls 6 for at least another 3 or 4 years.
No, you're absolutely right.
That's being early. So
and Bethesda has been dropping the ball anyway. So like maybe when it does come out, who's to say?
Let's not jinx. Let's not talk.
I mean, no, I'm just keeping it real, right? Like Bethesda has been bungling all of their beloved franchises as of late.
Well, Fallout 76 was a venture that's something they haven't done before, and they didn't do it right. I don't feel like they took away from things that were already working and existing properties in other MMOs, and no NPCs, first off, was a mistake.
Son, how does that even... sorry.
It creates a very lonely world, and I think somebody who was developing that game or who was overseeing it should have known that. You have to take away from things that are already working and look at those things and figure out how to do those things, but in a uniquely different way, and they didn't do that. But like Fallout 4, that was great. Fallout 4 was a great game. It was a great game. I played every DLC for Fallout 4, even some of the stuff where you could make your houses, you could build different things, you could pacify animals and have them guard your settlement. It was a very big game that worked. There were some hiccups in it, but it was a great game. The biggest thing I think they need to do is to look at what's working once again and mirror that, but do your own thing while you're doing that. So let's not throw Elder Scrolls under the bus, okay?
I'm just saying I'm worried for Bethesda. That's all.
I think it's we should definitely mention while Outer Worlds is getting a DLC too. That was announced.
That's
Yeah.
true. But the thing is, I'm not sure that's coming to the other platforms because Outer Worlds was their project before Microsoft bought them. That came everywhere. I'm wondering if the DLC will just be on Xbox.
That's an interesting.
Ooh.
Because, and I'll go through the list real quick.
Yeah.
Everwild is a Rare game. Still don't know much about it. They showed another kind of tone trailer that showed, a lot of mystical stuff, animals, wilderness. Don't know what that game is really. I'm intrigued, but show me gameplay, please.
I like the name.
Yeah, it's not a bad name. Another thing ending in wild or whatever. Tell Me Why. That's the Don't Nod joint. It's the people who made Life is Strange.
Yeah.
Don't Nod is not owned by Microsoft, but Tell Me Why is an Xbox exclusive.
Yeah.
So if you're a fan of like that kind of story-based gameplay, like you're only going to get that next one on Xbox. As Dusk Falls is another very story-heavy thing. It was the trailer that had like all the watercolor painting looking stuff.
Yeah, it almost looked like what's that Unraveled? I think it is that Amazon show with. I think Aubrey Plaza.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like that animation almost.
Yeah, not really sure what that is, but it's focusing more so on story, so maybe more of like an adventure type game where you're kind of maybe making decisions and such. So I don't know, not really my thing, but could be good. I think there's some good pedigree behind it. Stalker 2 is an Xbox exclusive. This is a game that has a lot of prestige from the PC side. Like it does a lot of like, and I've never played it, but it has a let's just say it has a history. Like people are into this sequel, whatnot.
Yeah.
Forza, didn't see much, but man, those cars look pretty.
They always do.
Yeah, like
they really do.
Them joints look photorealistic as a mug.
Yeah.
But this is a motorsport one, so it's not the more arcadey one that I'm probably more into. Like it's a sim racer, not my cup of tea, but it's coming eventually. And then Hellblade 2, which is the Ninja Theory joint. I'm probably the most excited about this. They kind of let me down as well because they didn't show more. They showed you a couple of clips from the last trailer, and then they showed you actual like real life footage of where I guess they're going and shooting, like kind of reference footage and stuff. And then they said you can see more developer diaries on our website or whatever. It was like, why even mention this if you didn't have anything to show? And then the last thing is, aside from all the other like timed exclusive things, they said that they would have more to show at a later date. So they're kind of holding their hand back.
Yeah. Again.
Yes. Like, why are they doing this? Like, this was their time to kind of strike back at PlayStation, and instead they went like, well, take a look at some of this stuff. We'll have more for you later on.
Yeah. You don't need multiple events. If you do one event and it's flushed out and it kind of shows the clear picture of the games that you want to present, then I think that's it. Nobody would expect another one or be looking for another one if you answered the questions that were asked of those games at the time. Not say, hey, here's a taste. Like taste. I'm cooking right now, but you can taste what I'm making, and you can have some later.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm hungry. Feed me now. Like, don't let me taste it because it's gonna make me even more hungrier. Like, and make me angry.
Or
give me what I want.
Or you'd be like, you know what? This is taking too long. I'm gonna go to Popeyes.
Hey, nothing wrong with Popeyes.
I'm gonna give me a number one, $5.19.
$5.17.
Oh,
so I don't know. So like, so overall, like I was just really left wanting. Like I'm a Xbox fan, to put it, mildly. Like I'm rooting for them. Like I kind of want them to regain some ground in this war. But to be completely honest, like PlayStation excited me for what their console is gonna have in store a lot more than Microsoft. And when you strip out a lot of the fanfare, yes, Microsoft does have more games. Yes, more of their games are exclusive. But still, like the feeling that you leave with is important. And PlayStation got me much more excited than Xbox did.
Like just that Miles Morales clip
alone.
Fam.
Alone.
gave more hype than anything on the So it's like it's
Fable
not
was
about
probably the closest.
quantity, it's about quality.
Exactly.
Not saying the games weren't going to be good,
Mhm.
but you didn't portray them in a positive light.
They didn't really
Yeah.
show them
Satisfaction
off.
they deserve. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
I
true.
wanted to mention 3 other games that we didn't talk about, and
Mhm.
just really brief. One that I definitely will not be playing, but watching streamed is Medium, because Medium looks
Oh, right.
psycho. That looks crazy. So I have to see somebody. That's gonna be super dope. Grounded again. I didn't realize that Grounded was multiplayer, and that looks kind of cool. It's the one where you're the little people and you're in the yard and you have to.
Yeah, like
survive
Honey,
the
I Shrunk the Kids, the game.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what?
And
That
the
actually did show better than it has in the past. That looked like something
Yes.
I would want to try. And again, it's Obsidian that's doing that kind of on the side.
Mhm.
It's gonna release, I think, in like an early access or open beta type thing.
Like AC
They got
said,
it.
What Fortnite was when it first came out.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. They have the preview of the game.
Oh, it's up now.
It was up like since last week or something like
Wow,
preview.
okay.
Oh, cool. So we should check that out, I think. And see,
Yeah, definitely.
see how that plays.
That's on the list. I don't know if the multiplayer is included in that preview, but I know there. And the last one I wanted to mention, and Jeff, I thought you would be a little this one, but the Warhammer 40K Dark Tide.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
Bruh, that looked dope.
Yeah. The one with
Now
the
they-
with the guns, yeah.
Yeah, no, it didn't. Now, this is what I think it's going to be. This is just pure speculation. I don't know if you guys remembered, and I streamed this way early when
No, I know what you're
it
gonna
first
say.
started. You know what I'm about to talk about?
Yeah.
Vermintide 2.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically Left 4 Dead in medieval times kind of deal.
Right.
It was, actually, the more close comparison would be Killing Floor, and it had a lot of mixer interactability.
Ooh.
Throw in specialized. Anyway, that being said, this looks like a sci-fi version of that.
Right. Because they're both Warhammer,
Yeah.
Yep.
but it's Warhammer's fantasy and sci-fi world. Like 40K is a sci-fi one, and a regular Warhammer is
Yeah.
a fantasy one. So
40,
even the name Dark Tide it's literally another one of those. So
Yeah,
I think you're pretty on the money.
I hope I'm on the money. I think it's gonna be super dope. Hopefully when it does release, it has some kind of Twitch expansion, so we can have that streamer viewer
I'm sure it will.
interactability. That's what I'm super excited about. So
I'm hoping it's going to be a little bit deeper than Vermintide as far as customization, as far as making that character your own. Because I feel like
Yep.
Vermintide was good, but it was kind of like you pick it up and play it, and that's kind of it. Like
There's no like progression tied to it.
Well, I mean, like as far as your character goes, like okay, like this character, I can, build him in whatever way I want to build him, or something to that, or even, the customization wasn't as deep.
yeah,
So I'm hoping that it kind of does let you do a little bit more, because those characters, from what I could tell from the trailer, they look very much the same.
yeah,
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. Because they did have like a little bit of like levity
Slight
in it.
differences.
It was like kind of
Yeah.
they were trying to be comedic. Like one dude had like a weird blue glow thing on his gun, and another guy was like. So I do think there will probably be some kind of class aspect to it. But I see what you mean. Like if you have a way to kind of tailor the class to like the way you want to play and stuff, then yeah, it'll probably get a lot more mileage. So
and
yeah,
you know
and again,
me, I'm all about the look. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Right.
all about the look.
Yeah.
Call me
Yeah.
default.
Yeah.
So yeah, in short, me personally, Microsoft could have done a lot better. I'm still excited because these are a lot of exciting games that are coming to the platform. But at this point, I just gotta wait and see what's coming next. Like I would have loved to hear about a Perfect Dark on the horizon. We've still heard nothing about what their quadruple A studio, The Initiative, is doing. Like that's completely in the dark still. I think
Quadruple.
I mean, that's what they called it. And I think there are some other studios that they've acquired that haven't announced anything. So, I don't know. They might still have some stuff under their sleeves. They're just being way too coy. Kind of like what PlayStation was doing beforehand. But honestly, not even, because PlayStation wasn't saying anything beforehand.
Yeah, they
Microsoft
weren't giving
is
us a thing.
Yeah, they're just holding too many cards to the chest. And I feel like we're so late in the game. Like, this holiday season, all this stuff is going to launch. Like, get us excited. This was the time to do it.
Yeah. We passed the halfway mark on this year.
They want to get then. So let me know what I'm saving for.
Yep.
So that's going to do it for our topics. I think we've been going for pretty long. I think we'll save the mailbag question for next week.
Yeah. Sure.
So with that, we're going to go ahead and sign off. Jeff, where can people find you if they're looking for you on the internet?
If you're looking for me, and I know you are, you can find me on SupermanJeff12 across all social media. That's Facebook, that's Twitch, that's Twitter, that's Instagram. You can check me out there. And you also find all of us at the BBET Twitch channel and the BBET Facebook page. Make sure to hit that like button at the bottom and subscribe. We are 100 followers now, so it's not as hard to find us. You can just put in www.youtube/BBETGaming and you take us right to us. So, yeah.
Thanks. Gamer, what about you?
You can find me at startbuttonreview.com. You can also find me SBRMRGAMER on all social media platforms, Nintendo Switches and Skyrim toilets. I also have a podcast that I do. It is SBR Reports, and I think that's available on just about everything except your ankle bracelet. But I think that's something later.
They
That's
just patched it.
Oh,
Good, yeah.
okay, there we go. So now it's officially on ankle bracelets. But yeah, there we go. Oh, by the way, I'm also on TikTok a lot now. I do voice things on TikTok now. So if you should definitely, definitely if you have a chance, I'm working on an Overwatch thing right now, actually.
Nice.
Okay.
So, Blue, how about you?
It's your boy Blue Bones BLUB0 NES. You can seems these guys talk. I didn't TikTok. Yeah. I did want to real quick shout out and condemn Kev Mui. We playing Words with Friends 2. This boy dropped a 51-point word on me.
Wow.
Son, I ain't played since. Like,
What was the word? What was the word?
hold on, I'm gonna pull it up. But the thing is,
Man, we had some matches, didn't we?
The first game, the word was devil. That's even worse, bro. Like, I can show y'all right here. Look. You see that at the bottom? No, you can't. Anyway,
yeah, not really.
51 points. Look, the first game he beat me. Second game I beat him, and I was like, yeah. We get into this one. At the beginning of it, I was like whooping him, and then he dropped a 30-point. I was like, okay, I can catch up. And then he drops 51 points, yo.
Kept to the gloves
Then he's gonna be nudging me like, it's your turn. Like, no, sir.
Beat this man into submission.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm gonna probably start over. GG, Kev. But more important, Sigma Gears 9. Where can we find you?
You guys can find me on pretty much all social media at Sigma Gears 9. You can find me on Facebook at Sigma and Son. You can find my 3-minute reviews as well as streams that I do with my coworkers at The Escapist on The Escapist YouTube or escapistmagazine.com. Most recently, I have the Carrion review. By this Tuesday when this podcast drops, I don't know. Other Side is really kicking my butt, so that might be delayed when that's supposed to come out. But before you hear the next one of these, you'll probably see another review for a game called 1,000 Threads. So keep an eye out for that. Just want to thank my co-host as well. Want to thank everyone who's watching, everyone who's listening. I'm trying to think if there's any other. Matter of fact, no. We should say we just made Twitch affiliate, right?
Yeah, we did. So, yeah, we did it.
Yay us. Thanks everybody who are watching our streams on Twitch and helped us get there. We really appreciate it. At this point, going forward,
Twitch.
Some things are going to change. Stay tuned.
Yeah. I was gonna kind of drop that little hint too.
Right, okay.
Yeah, but it's okay. Yeah. Get ready for changes.
Yeah, exciting stuff coming in the future, so stay tuned. We'll talk more about it, I guess, in the future, but you'll probably hear it if you follow all of our social media things like Jeff mentioned earlier. So definitely do that. So thanks once again, everybody, for listening. That's going to do it for episode 56. Peace.
Deuces.
Picture me riding and rolling with models. Brand new Ferraris like we was winning the lotto. And that's all those fathers with me. Pouring the bottle, playing that ONG music that's gonna blow like Chicago.